morning guys, and welcome to our fourth and almost our final math lesson of this week. Now, like all the lessons before, in this lesson you will need a pencil or something to write with, your exercise book or something to write on, and a rubber and a ruler if you have one of those at home. Now, like I've been saying before, if you could please pause me here, write the date and WALT, because like I said, it's really important that you get into the habit of writing the date and WALT, because that's obviously something that you guys will be doing at school, and also it helps us teachers with marking your work. Now, you can also have a go at the starter whilst you do that, just like we normally do in school. Now, your starter is to work out these division questions here. Now, with these division questions, you can use the bus stop method that we did yesterday if you want to, or you can actually use your 4 times table knowledge to see how many times that number goes into this number here. Okay, so they're all of these numbers here are multiples of 4. So you can use your 4 times table knowledge to help you work out how many times that number, the smaller number, goes into the larger number. So if you could pause me here and you have a go at the starter and write the date and WALT, please. Right, amazing. So if you've obviously unpaused me now, it's because you've done the starter and you've done the date and WALT. So let's go through the answers now. So let's start with 12 divided by 4. Now, when we're working out 12 divided by 4, we obviously want to know if we had 12 things, we'd be sharing it between 4 people. So in order to do that, we can see how many times 4 goes into 12. So if I was to do my 4 times table, 4, 8, 12. Okay, so 12 divided by 4 is 3. So if I had 12 chocolate bars and I was sharing them between 4 of you guys, you'd all get 3 chocolate bars each. Now, with 16 divided by 4, now I instantly can remember that 4 times 4 is 16. So I know off the top of my head that I think that 16 divided by 4 is probably going to be 4, but let's work it out. 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah, so the answer is 4. Now, 20 divided by 4, some of you may probably will be able to do this instantly as well if you have your really clear times table knowledge. If we work out how many 4s go into 20, we want to know is 5 4s go into 20, because 5 times 4 is 20. But we can work it out as well. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Same with 36. If you know your 4 times tables, you know that 4 times 9 is 36. Okay, so 36 divided by 4 will be 9, because 4 goes into 36 9 times. Same with 44 divided by 4. Hopefully lots of you know this one instantly, because we certainly do enjoy this times table. When I look at 44, I know that obviously 11 times 4 would be 44. So 44 divided by 4 is 11. If you don't know your 4 times tables instantly or rapidly, don't worry, just remember to count in your 4s. But this is a great chance to practice your 4 times tables. We spent a lot of time practicing those just before Christmas in term 2. So if you still are a bit unsure about your 4 times tables, use this time to catch up, because we're going to be moving on. We're moving on to our 7s as well, so we don't want to be leaving you guys behind if you're still a bit unsure of your 4s. And finally, let's work out our 24 divided by 4. You might know this one instantly, but let's work it out together. You've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So it is 6. So well done. Hopefully you got those ones right. If you didn't, then obviously spend a little bit of time practicing your 4 times tables, making sure you're using times table rock stars as well, because that's really helpful with this. Now, I'll quickly just recap this. We did discuss this yesterday. What does division mean? Now, we spoke about how division is the inverse of multiplication, so that means that they are the opposites of each other. If you do use times table rock stars, you'll notice that they do have lots. Oh, sorry, the sun's blinding me. They do have lots of division questions on there as well, because that's obviously the opposite of multiplication. Also, when we divide, I'm sorry, I'm going to just pull the curtain across. A little bit better. When we multiply, the numbers get bigger. Our answer is always going to be bigger than the numbers that we're multiplying. However, when we divide, we are sharing our total. So we have our total at the start, and we want to share or divide it between a certain number. Hopefully, we want to divide it equally. However, sometimes you can't divide it equally, and that's what we're going to be going on to today. So, hopefully when you wrote your date and WALT, you could see that we are going to be dividing again today, but we're going to be using something called remainders. Now, we did touch on remainders yesterday, and we're going to be doing a little bit more work on those today. Hopefully you found yesterday's work okay, because we're going to be elaborating and moving on from that today. If you're still a little bit unsure, it's another one of those things. It just takes a little bit more practice, so make sure you use this time to practice and have a go. So let's just do a little bit of recap from yesterday. We were dividing using the bus stop method. Now we use the bus stop method when we're dividing larger numbers, because I know I talked you through all the different methods that we've used before, and obviously the method that we were using just in the starter then, however, is a bit harder to do that with these bigger numbers. So the bus stop method is a bit more of an efficient way to divide. So hopefully you can remember how we work this out. First of all, we work out how many 3's go into 3. Obviously we know that 3 is actually 30, is 3 tens. However, it's obviously a little bit easier for us if we just work out how many 3's go into 3. And if I do my 3 times table 3, I know that 1 3 goes into 3. So we put that above him there. And then I want to work out how many 3's go into 9. Let's do our 3 times table. 3, 6, 9 is 13. So we know that 39 divided by 3 is 13. Now that one's nice and easy because we've not got any remainders, and we didn't have to carry any numbers across. Now let's have a go at question number 2. Now 48 divided by 3. Now I'm looking at this number and I'm already knowing that I'm going to have some remainders and have to carry them across. Now the first thing we work out is how many 3's go into 4. Okay, now we know 3's go into 40. We know that 3 doesn't go into 4 equally. So one method I was telling you yesterday was to draw out your dots. 1, 2. So draw out 4 dots. If you don't need to do this, and you don't have to. 2. Oh, sorry, I can't seem to draw. There we are. Dot 2, 3, 4. Now, obviously, I want to see how many 3's go into 4. Sorry, sometimes it doesn't let me. There we are. I want to know how many 3's go into 4. So I count up 1, 2, 3. I'm going to circle that 3. So I can fit one lot of 3 into 4. But I have a remainder of 1 or 10 really. Okay, so I'm going to cross that out. And I'm going to carry that one over to, obviously as a 10, to make that 18. Okay, so now I'm going to work out how many 3's go into 18. So let's do our 3 times table. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay, so 6 3's go into 18. So 48 divided by 3 is 16. So hopefully you started to understand that and you had a bit of a go at that yesterday. Like I said, if you're still a bit unsure, don't worry. Take it easy again today just to ease yourself in. Some of you would have had lots of practice at this before. Year 5s particularly, you've done this twice before. Year 4s, I'm unsure whether that was something that you came across last year, obviously because of things like lockdown. But it's another one of those things, practice makes perfect. Now, whoops daisy. We've got 936 divided by 4, but for some reason we've got 3 divided by 39 still. So what I'm going to do is, if I just can get rid of these, and I'll put my 4 here, 936. Sorry about that. Let's try again. So let's have a go at working out this one here. So some of you might not have gone on to dividing a 3-digit number by a 1-digit. If you didn't, you think that's a little bit tricky, don't worry yourself. Just make sure you still watch me, and we can have a go at it together. Now, same process as always. Let's have a go. So we're figuring out how many 4's can go into 936. So let's start with our first number. So we see how many 4's go into 9. Now, if you want to, you could do your 4 times table. I know that 9 isn't a multiple of 4. So what you could do is you can draw out your 9 dots to help you. I'll draw them here. So I'll do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm aware these aren't dots, but it's just a little bit easy trying to draw dots with that rubbish pen. Now I'm going to circle the 4's. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's one group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another group of 4. So we know that actually 2 4's can go into 9. However, we have got a remainder, so I'm going to cross that one out, of 1, or really it's 10. Okay, so obviously we're actually seeing how many 4's go into 90. So we can now we've now carried that one across, and we have a go at seeing how many 4's go into 13. So like we just did with the dots, you can draw out 13 dots again if you want to, if you need that to see. Or I know that 13 isn't a multiple of 4, But I know that 12 is. So I can do 4, 8, 12. So I know that 3 4s go into 13. However, I got just 1 left over again. So I carry that one over. And then if you prefer drawing out the dots, you can, that's absolutely fine. Then I'm going to work out how many 4s go into 16. And I know that 16 is a multiple of 4. So let's do 4, 8, 12, 16. So the answer is 4. So 936 divided by 4 is 234. Now, with the questions we've been working out so far, we've been lucky because they've all ended up being multiples of that number. So what happens, sorry, my drawing's gone over that. It says, what happens if 5 isn't a multiple of 438? So if I look at this number sentence here, 438 divided by 5, I know that 8 isn't a multiple of 5. Okay, obviously anything that ends in 0 or 5 is a multiple of 5. So we need to have a think about what we do here. So let's have another go. So we're going to do the exact same thing as always. How many 5s go into 4? Oh, do any 5s go into 4? No, they don't, because 4 is smaller than 5. So I'm going to put 0 there. You can leave that blank if you want to, but I'm going to put 0 there. And then I'm going to carry my 4 over to here. Now I'm carrying the 4 over here because obviously none went in, so that I've got 4 left over still. Okay, so now we need to figure out how many 4s go into 43. Now you don't really want to draw out 43 dots, so let's do our 5 times tables and see how close to 43 we can get. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You might have known instantly that 8 was the closest we can get, obviously because 8 5s are 40. So I'm going to put 8 here. But then remember, we do have our 3 10s left over, so we carry that over to 38. Now we work out how many 5s go into 38. So let's do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay, so 35 is the closest I can get to 38. I can't go to 40 because that's bigger. So 35 is the closest. So that means I can have 7 5s, but I've got a remainder. I've managed to get to 35, but I needed to get to 38. So 35, 36, 37, 38. I have a remainder of 3 left over. So I put a little R here, and I put remainder 3. So 438 divided by 5 is 87 remainder 3. Okay? Now hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you guys. Okay, if you find that too tricky, don't worry, you can still have a go with A. I think A doesn't have many remainders, so you can just have a go at that, okay, and it uses smaller numbers. So you've got 3 questions here. What I'd like you to do now is, if you're feeling confident, pause me here and have a go at one of the questions. If you're feeling a little bit unsure, have a go at just the first question. If you're feeling like you want a challenge, have a go at all 3. Okay, I am going to go through them, so if you're feeling a little bit, if you're lacking confidence with this, just pause me and write out your bus stop method. Start with 79 divided by 4, and we can do it alongside each other. I always say this, it really helps if you do this alongside me, so you're actually seeing how it works instead of just watching me. Okay, so let's start with 79. So we're going to put 79 in our bus stop, and we're going to put 4 outside. So we need to see how many 4s go into 7. Now, because 7 is a bit of a smaller number, you can draw out your dots if you prefer that. You draw out 7 dots. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you don't need to do that, then you don't have to. If you could do this in your head, that's absolutely fine. Now I'm going to circle my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1. Can I get another 4 in? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, I can't. So I know that 4 goes into 7, and I have 3 remaining, so I carry that over. Obviously it's actually 3 10s remaining, so it makes it 39. Now let's work out how many 4s go into 39. Now I know that 39 isn't in the 4 times table, so we're actually going to have a remainder, but let's see how close we can get. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 24, 28, 32, 36. So that's the closest I can get, because after 36 it'd be 40, and 40 is too big. So we can get 9 4s in. However, we only got to 36, so we've got a remainder of 37, 38, 39, so we've got a remainder of 3. So 79 divided by 4 is 19. Remainder 3. Okay, hopefully you guys got that one right. If you did, pause me and have a go. And if you're feeling a little bit unconfident, hopefully you had a go at that alongside me. Right, let's have a go at question number 2. So we've got 337, and we're dividing that by 5. So let's start over here. How many 5s go into 2? Obviously 2 is smaller than 5, so we can't do that. So you could put 0 here if you want to, or you could just leave that blank. Cross that out and then carry over your 20 over here. Your 20 to make it 23. Now let's have a look at how many 5s go into 23. I know that 23 isn't a multiple of 5, but let's see how close we can get. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Can't go to 25, it's too big, so we can go to 20. So we've got 4 5s go in, but we have a remainder of 3 because we only managed to get to 20. So let's carry that 3 over to make that 37. Now let's see how many 5s go into 37. Now I know that 37 isn't a multiple of 5 because it doesn't end in 5 or 0, but let's see how close we can get. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You might have known instantly that 35 was the closest you can get, and that's 7 times 5, so we can get 7 5s into 37. However, we've obviously got a remainder of 36, 37, 2. Okay, so now 237 divided by 5, obviously we don't need to include that 0 there. It's going to be 47, remainder 2. Now we do a little R to show remainder. So hopefully you got that one right if you challenged yourself and had a go at that one too. If you didn't, just maybe pause me and have a look at where maybe you've gone wrong. Maybe it was just your times tables. That tends to be where people go wrong here. Now let's have a go at doing the 4-digit divided by the 1-digit. Well done if you had a go at challenge yourself with this. Year 4s don't worry so much because this is more for year 5s. So 2,982. So I'm going to move myself down a little bit. So let's start off. How many 5s go into 2? Obviously we know that no 5s go into 2 because it's bigger. So we'll cross that out and we'll carry that over to make that, well, we can say 29 is actually obviously going over into the hundreds column. Right, so let's see how many 5s go into 29. I knew that 29 isn't a multiple of 5, but let's see how close we can get. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, 30 is too far, so we can get 5 5s into 29. However, we've obviously got a remainder of 26, 27, 28, 29. We've always got a remainder of 4. Hopefully you're able to do this in your head without counting on. Now let's see how many 5s go into now 48. Obviously we know that 48 isn't a multiple of 5 either, but let's see how close we can get. Hopefully you can remember and do this off the top of your head from last time, but see how close we can get. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 is too far, so the closest we can get is 45, which is obviously 9. We can get 9 5s into 48, but then we have a remainder of 46, 47, 48. We have a remainder of 3. Carry that one across. Now finally, let's see how many 5s go into 32. Obviously again, we knew that that's not a multiple of 5, but let's see how close we can get. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that's the closest we can get. We can get 6 5s in, but then obviously we only got 30, so we've got a remainder of 2. So we've got R2. Okay, so 2,982 divided by 5 is 596. Remainder, we put a little R for remainder because we don't want to write remainder every time. 2. So hopefully that's starting to make a little bit of more sense now. So what you're going to do is, I've got some steps of success here that I'll just quickly go through with you. So obviously the first thing you do, divide the biggest number by the smallest number, and you see how many of the dividing number goes into that first number. If it's too small, you join the number to the next one. That's what I just gone through with you here. So look, if we look here, 6 doesn't go into 5, so we join that. I tend to cross it out so then I don't have to worry about it. we then carry it across, and then we see how many 6s go into 52. If it is bigger than whatever is left, that joins onto the next number, okay? So if we look here, it was obviously too big, so then whatever we've got left, we join on to the next number. That's what I went through with you then. Again, if you need to, cross it out when you've done it so you know that's done, you don't have to worry about it. And then it says repeat until you get to the last number, and it says whatever is left is written as a remainder. So we do a little r and then whatever the remainder is, okay? So here's your choices of work today. You can choose between A, B, or C. I'll move myself out the way so I'm not in the way. Pause me here. Choose between A, B, or C. By the looks of things, they have all got remainders, but I know that you can all completely do this. If you're finding it a little bit tricky, start with just the 2 digits on A, and then you can progress onwards. Obviously, like last time, B goes straight into 3 digits, and C goes into 4 digits. Either challenge yourself, and if you find that tricky, don't worry, go back to B or go back to A. There's no problem with doing that, because then when you've started to understand it a little bit more, then you can progress onwards. Same again, if you start with A and you think, oh, actually, it's far too easy for me, move on to B. Really look forward to seeing your work. So remember to pause me and have a go. Tell me whether you're doing A, B, or C as well, because it's easier for me to mark your work also. And here is a challenge for you in case you do finish. We've got some word problems here. So it says apply the bus stop method to answer these questions. It also says remember to add the context to your answer. So say here you're working with bottles of perfume. Whatever your answer is, remember to put bottles at the end of it. We talk about putting the unit of measure if you're working with centimetres and things. So same here, you're working with t-shirts. So when you've got your answer, make sure you put t-shirts after, okay? So pause me here if you're going to have a go at the challenge as well. What I am going to do is I'll go back just in case. Also, sorry, if you do the challenge, make sure you write challenge whilst we know that that's what you've done, okay? So pause me here, have a go, best of luck, keep working at it. It's one of those things, the more you practice, the better you get, and I look forward to seeing all your work. See you tomorrow. Sorry for an end PowerPoint. This always takes me a little bit longer. Oh, now I can't find the end button. Sorry, there we are.